Like a lot of high-profile players in the food tech space, Climax Foods has been through some challenging years, but it regrouped in October 2025 with fresh funding, a new CEO and a new name.
So one of the big things we did is just take a step back and look at what are the biggest areas of the market that make sense for us to focus on, right? So blue cheese, phenomenal product that our team developed, but fairly small market and very difficult to make. So we decided, let's just go after the biggest prize, which is mozzarella. 40% of the US cheese market, which is about 15 billion pounds, so 5 billion pounds is mozzarella roughly. And that's really where our proprietary protein, which we call casein, which mimics a lot of the functionality of casein, really shines. We've also focused on other cheeses like cream cheese and feta that are big markets, more scalable, and also really feature our proprietary protein. We have three main approaches to go to market and two channels. So the first approach is go to food service directly. So away from home foods, whether that's pizzerias, salad chains, bagel shops. With some acquisitions we recently did that I'll talk about a little bit later, we're already in the market with very important customers such as Whole Foods and Apollo Bagels in New York City and pizza chains like And Pizza with a great set of products. And we're well poised then to launch our next generation products into the away from home channel. So that's channel number one. Channel number two is B2B CPG. So essentially any company that's using cheese in a frozen pizza, frozen appetizer, any other food product is our target customer, either for our proprietary protein, where they would use the protein and formulate products themselves, or for a cheese based on our proprietary protein that they would use as an ingredient.
Tell me a bit about the status of this ingredient, how it's sourced, where it's going to be kind of processed, and the timing for when you might actually have it available in the marketplace.
Sure. So firstly, our patent on the proprietary process we have to produce the ingredient was issued in March of 2025 for the US. It's pending in many countries around the world. Number two, we are nearly complete with our self-certified GRAS on that ingredient. And three, we are nearly there on scale-up. So we've been working with high-quality co-manufacturers on scaling up the protein. We've had successful commercial trials at scale. And our hope is to launch products using the ingredient within the next few months.
I've heard this described before as a storage protein. Is it in many different kinds of plants? And does it take any expensive or bespoke equipment to functionalize it so that it will behave like casein with that stretch and melt?
Great question. So it is found in multiple different species of crops. We've narrowed in on a few very specifically that achieve optimal performance, but we think we'll be able to expand that out over time. And there's really not, the equipment we need is nothing very bespoke. There's a lot of facilities with this existing equipment. One of the challenges, however, is most facilities that are doing protein extraction and refinement, they're designed, or at least the owners of them like to run one protein at very large scale and not bring in other things. So that does narrow down the field of potential partners we can work with. Having said that, we do have high quality partners that we're working with. With a focus on the US at the first instance, but importantly, the commodities we are using are grown all around the world, highly regenerative crops, use very little water. So we do think this is very much a global play, both from an agricultural standpoint, a manufacturing standpoint, and a demand standpoint.
How much of a game changer do you think this ingredient potentially could be? Because even if you are able to replicate the melt and stretch that you get from dairy proteins, is the market for dairy-free cheese actually that big of an opportunity, even if you can have a better performing product?
Well, if you had told number of companies that launched oat milk in 2018, the market for plant milk in coffee is only 10% penetration, so why are you bothering? if they hadn't done that, we would not now be at 50% penetration in coffee. So Square released some data recently, and all the coffee transactions on their North American business, US and Canada, 50% of the coffee transactions in restaurants and cafes have plant milk associated with them, and the vast majority of that plant milk is oat milk. And this happened only in 6 years. Our goal is to do for pizza, for bagels, for salad, anything that uses cheese, what oat milk has done for coffee. And our strategy is we go application by application, and we say, not just how can we create a great cheese, how can we create a great product that performs really well in that application, so that it's not about, oh, I want the plant-based version. It's just, oh, this is a great tasting product. And that's exactly what's happened with coffee with oat milk. And we believe with this, it's a total game changer. We can expand the market significantly, just like oat milk did for plant milk in coffee.
Do you think, though, that plant-based milk and plant-based cheese are the same? You know, the same drivers? Because I know I hear over the years people would say with plant-based meat, oh, well, plant-based milk's got 15% penetration, therefore, ergo, the same's going to happen for plant-based meat, and it didn't happen because the drivers were a little different. You know, is it reasonable to compare oat milk and almond milk and so on with plant-based cheese, which seems to be quite different markets?
I think comparing plant milk with cheese is very different than plant milk with meat.
Yeah.
First of all, it's all in the dairy category.
Yeah.
Secondly, you have a lot of adjacent use cases.
Yes.
You go into a bagel shop, you ask for a latte, an oat latte,
Yeah.
and then you get dairy cream cheese on your bagel. It would otherwise be a completely animal-free transaction. But the problem right now is you don't have very many great tasting dairy-free cheese options.
Yeah.
Now, we did acquire one brand, Stockheld, which has an amazing dairy-free cheese as is, but we're working on something that's even better. So we're also not just solving for taste, we're solving for texture and nutrition. And when you combine all that, you even surpass some of the challenges of plant milk by doing that.
If you look at US retail sales of plant-based cheese, they've been kind of declining for some time. Is it your view that if the products are simply better, that, you know, the market is there then?
I think it's not as simple as just having a better product, because then you have to convince people you should try this. Trust me, it's better.
Yes.
When there's a lot of now baggage people have in their taste buds. Oh, dairy-free cheese, I tried it once, it can't be good, right? That's one of the reasons we're focusing on food service and not retail in the first instance. And for retail, we want to partner with the existing CPG brands that have much more of the marketing muscle and the brand trust to say that this is something that we think is now at a level that we're comfortable introducing a dairy-free option.
If the best you can say to someone is, we can match a product that you're already quite happy with, why would you might say, why wouldn't you switch? But you could also say, well, why would you switch if you're already happy with?
Well, let's go back to the oat milk and coffee example, right? So plant penetration in coffee was maybe 10-15% before oat milk came along, right? And so what happened? Why did another 35% of transactions go to oat milk? Was it because all those people are vegan? No. They're vegetarian? No. It's because, hey, it tastes great. And people have different reasons for trying things, but lactose intolerance is a trend that's only growing. Allergen-free is a trend that's only growing. In fact, there was a study that Acosta did for Scraping Social Media. They presented it in a conference in Minnesota last year. The second most searched for term for allergen-sensitive consumers after gluten-free is dairy-free.
Yes.
So it's totally different than meat. I think the lactose intolerance, particularly with Gen Z consumers and consumers outside of the United States, particularly in Asia and Latin America, massive rates of lactose intolerance, and a lot of people don't even know it, right? So they will feel better, they'll feel lighter, less digestion issues.
So just finally, you recently acquired 3 brands: Hungry Planet, plant-based meat, sort of food service, Numu, sort of plant-based mozzarella, and you talked about Stockheld Dreamery. What are your plans for these companies, and what value are you adding? Is this about kind of acquiring brands that already have some traction, or what's the strategy with this?
The strategy was companies with great products using existing technology Again, our technology, we think, changes it's a whole new level of products, but for existing technology, really the best of what's out there. Secondly, great set of customers. And third, distribution.
Yes.
And when we put all three companies together, it was very synergistic, both from a distribution standpoint to unlock growth, as well as from a cost and infrastructure standpoint. And that gives us a foundation. In food service, it's very difficult to start from zero. Because I can go to the pizzeria down the street, the bagel shop, they say your cream cheese is great, your pizza cheese is great, but I can only order a case a week, and then their distributor needs to bring a whole pallet in. So you have a massive cold start issue in food service distribution with existing base of sales and great partners like Dot Foods, where we now have all the products available. An outlet can order as little as one case through their distributor and get it delivered within 2 to 4 days anywhere in the country. So that's a huge unlock, and it gives us a huge head start to launch our next generation products.